Hi everybody, Dr. Howard Cohn here from 7.2, and today we're with our good friend Nate Darnell, molecular hydrogen expert, health expert, to find out more about this phenomenon of recovery with HydroFX, why it's helping so many people, how it's helping them. Nate, thanks for being here today.
Dr. Cohn, I'm excited to be here.
So Nate, you have been following this for quite some time now. How did you even find your way to this phenomenon of hydrogen and molecular hydrogen?
It's a great question. And a couple of years ago, I had a great colleague doing some amazing water research in the Galapagos, Megan Garcia, who introduced me to a lot of technical research about molecular hydrogen. And we started sharing that with colleagues in the Pacific Northwest at various universities. And I've become somewhat of a historian on the topic.
So, and I've met Megan, and she's fantastic. And you know, how to take us through the process. How have you come to now with all the different ways that you're using it?
So what we realized years ago was that there were some great technologies like water electrolyzers, more commonly called, I think, water ionizers, that it was a foundational technology, but it had limitations. And we were looking for something that could deliver more hydrogen. And a short time after we started that kind of investigative research, we stumbled upon the 7.2 company and at that time, the new product, Recovery with HydroFX. We acquired some samples of it and realized very quickly that it was producing results that we'd never seen before.
Can you just kind of take us through the history of how we got to today, now having this tablet that's such a great delivery method from where we started in hydrogen? Certainly,
and you brought up some really good points, Dr. Cohn. The safety profile of hydrogen has been established for well over 60 years, as far back as the 1940s for super deep sea diving, then by the U.S. military in the 1970s, then through the Darnell phenomenon, the medically documented Darnell phenomenon in the 1990s, and then through research around 2007 in the journal Nature. And so we've known for many years that hydrogen is non-toxic to the human body. It's therapeutic more recently. But in terms of hydrogen delivery systems, there's always been some technical challenges. And what 7.2 did, which was very unique and very much needed, was it brought several things together that really made the ideal hydrogen supplement. And that was, it made it convenient and it made it cost effective. And just by being able to put it in a tablet, instead of having to use complex machinery to get that therapeutic value or that antioxidant value in your home, in your purse, in your pocket, which we could never do before. And that's what was really revolutionary about the Recovery with HydroFX product.
So Nate, let me ask you another question. You mentioned the antioxidant power of molecular hydrogen and hydrogen. And when people think of antioxidants, they might think of their, fruits and vegetables, or they might think of their pomegranate. And, occasionally even people the buzzword of like ORAC. But with hydrogen, there's a new buzzword called NORP. Can you kind of talk to that a little bit?
Dr. Cohn, that's a great question. And ORAC is an older testing mechanism that was developed by the National Institutes of Health over 30 years ago. And at that time, it was valuable. But what we've realized over time is that it's not very accurate. There are a lot of variables. And so a newer system that we're using is based on ORP, or oxidation reduction potential. Now, that scale goes from positive to negative. And the more positive the number is, really can be equated to how fast we're aging. And if we can make that number go negative, then that's kind of like turning the clock back or running the clock, aging slower. And so when we're measuring certain antioxidants, if we can get a really strong negative number, that's actually a lot better for us. And that's something that we can produce with Recovery with HydroFX and hydrogen in particular. And so ORP is a measuring technology that we can use specifically to measure the antioxidant value of hydrogen.
Especially in this area with hydrogen, not all antioxidants are created equal. There is such a thing called the selective antioxidant, kind of like a smart molecule, which people are saying about hydrogen, specifically molecular hydrogen. Can you speak to that for a minute?
That's right. Hydrogen is very unique as an antioxidant. Number one, it's so small, it can get into all of the nooks and crannies and cells in our body and really do the great work that a lot of other antioxidants simply can't do. Similarly, hydrogen only goes after the most toxic free radicals in the human body. And if you think about like the pilot light in our home heater, it has to be running. We have to have this light fire burning to keep our bodies operating, but if it gets out of control, then it can be really dangerous.
Right.
And so if you use too many antioxidants of the wrong kind, you can actually suppress or put out that fire, which you really don't want to have happen. But instead, you want a molecule that can regulate it very precisely. So we have all those oxidative processes that our body has to